You're Radicals. Weber State goes for number 3. They're 2-0. They got the big one, and I mean one of the great wins in the history of this program. They're in Eastern Canada. They're playing Gardner Webb today. Tomorrow, I think they get They get Colgate. Then I think, well, then they get Yale. Well, I know what the Yale team is. Ooh, Ivy League powerhouse. So just remember, we used to beat those Ivy Leaguers when I was the professor at the School of Business. We used to beat those Ivy Leaguers regular, you know. So this team is veteran, really veteran. Speaking of Ivy Leagues, I begged them to freaking sign Jeremy Lin. But you don't think this school's racist? Well, how come Watmasaka's number's not flying up here? Born and raised in Ogden, Utah, won two national championships at Weber State. Oh, that was down there at the... I don't give a fuck. I begged him. Go watch the little documentary on Jeremy Lin. You know, well, he was a 4-0, or fuck, he was the state player of the year. I used to go to those games every year. I watched Jason Kidd's last game in California at Arco. I watched his last college game in here when the Cheeseheads sent him packing. What a player. So, Watmasaka, born and raised in Ogden, Utah, of Japanese descent. Why is his number not flying? First player of color in the history of the NBA? Oh, yeah. The great Arnie Farron used to bring him here. Vern Garner was a teacher over at freaking Bonneville High School. So, back to Weber State. Hopefully they get number 3. The great Dillion Jones and crew. This team is veteran. This team is veteran. They've stayed together. They've worked together. I mean, this team is locked in. They got it. Finally, they got a coach. Finally, they have a coach. Finally. The Randy Ray freaking nightmare is over. Randy Ray, me and him had it out after that Xavier game. I remember we got in a big argument. Well, you know, Kevin, we just don't get to town like when you were with Bagelin and like you guys used to. They watch it. What are you fucking talking about, Randy? Talent? You mean like Damian Lillard? Talent? Fuck the talent here in the last 10, 15 years on the Randy fucking blows my mind. Look what they do in Europe. I mean, he wouldn't play Zaire Porter. He'd put up 57 the other day. You're not paying it. How about freaking Scotty Bamforth? Oh, fuck. Jeremy Siegel. Joe Ballin. I mean, this team, that is Damian Lillard. This team, is this the best player in the history of the school? Not yet. He might turn out to be Dylan. Oh, I'm the guy that named you Dylan Magic Jones. And you know I changed it to Dylan Dantley Magic Jones. You know, me and him go all the way back from right when he first got here, when he knocked out the referee on accident. But I told him the first time I ever had a conversation with a freshman, I says, at the Stewart Library, I says, I've been wanting to do that my whole life. Do what? Knock out a Big Sky referee? He says, God, I didn't do it on purpose. But I've watched him grow. Lillard, we knew what Lillard was from day one. You know, I saw his tapes as a freshman down there. When he was only 17 years old when he came here. And as you know, I've dedicated the entire season to Anthony Johnson. Who's that? You dedicated the season to a Montana? Yeah. The greatest performance in the history of that building? And that is saying a lot, including Stevie Nicks. I mean, Fleetwood Mac. And all these greats, including the score was 40-20. Damian Lillard, I told Dylan, you know, Dylan, Randy Ray's never won a tournament game. What? What? What are you talking about? No, Lillard never went to the... What? I said Damian Lillard never went to the tournament. I told him these guys, they were all gathered around, these players. They're still here. I'm like, what are you talking about? No. They lost in this building in the championship. They were ahead 40-20 halftime because of Anthony Johnson. The great Anthony Johnson went insane. I was in that. It blows my mind. I think that Lillard would have been the #1 pick in the NBA if that wouldn't happen, because they'd won the Bracket Buster. Well, excuse me, they didn't win the Bracket Buster that year. This was 2010. That still blows my mind. My mind swims over that game. He said he had an out-of-body experience. I grew up right here. I can understand that. I can go into the history about this piece of real estate, Shadow Valley. It's sacred. It's hallowed. Natives play basketball. You do know that. Most likely right here. I'm not kidding. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So hopefully I'll be doing number 3 here. tomorrow, 4 and 5. Then they get home against who? Navajo Tech. You cannot make it up, you know, because the Weber State School of Business, or Weber State School of there has Indigenous Day and Darren Parish show up, and they have everything but the Navajo signs. This is Fremont land. This is Shawnee land, and I can get a whole dissertation about the Navajo. You know, my mom worked at the Intermountain Indian School of Navajo. I can tell story after story. You know, I got so many great Navajo stories here. And so, this is Shoshone land. So, I think it's irony. I think it'll be very cool because Anthony Johnson, after he did that, he scored 34 points in the second half. All-time record, nothing even close. Nothing even. Jerry Carding holds all these records, you know, here for Weber, but nothing even close in a half. 100% from the line, 100% from the field, double team, triple team, quadruple team. Weber said by 23, 18, 16, 15. Of course, the year before with McCoy, they lost when Lillard was a freshman in the quarterfinals when they won it. And then, of course, Lillard's senior year, they went up there, and that's when he started logo Lillard at the end of that game in 2012. Well, I was full of cancer then at the central line, so I had a massive heart attack, as you know, this year. I've been battling cancer, and I kept telling him. I've had open heart surgery twice via the leukemia. And harvest one MRA, pacemaker, almost died last winter. So I missed a couple of Dillons. That's the only games I've missed at Dillon's. And this crew, how about two? 2 for 2, I call him. I'm friends with him, really good friends. You know, and those three have been so tight together. 2 and the local. So the Jordan Beat Digger. And 2 and Dylan Jones. So this team is deep, really deep. They've stayed together. You have to see his scar. His scar is bigger than mine. Whoa, Dyson Kohler, what a player he is. He's the heart and soul, I think, as far as the recovery, coming back. And they got a coach. I wasn't for this guy, but he's made a believer out of me. And Coach Daniels, they're both excellent. So hopefully get a 3. So get this. There'll be no play. I mean, radio, Weber State basketball and KLO are like so historic, so grassroots, everything. So, you know, when Lillard was here, I did the play-by-play for KWCR for all those years for the radio station. They killed that. And in 2011, when I had cancer, that 88.1 beat shirt that I had Lillard signed the last game. That was that game. I had Lillard sign it. Should be in a museum, but you can't give anything to them. I tried to give my. Oh, that's a whole other thing. This school's so fucked up. So Klauke's not going. Why? They cut the budget to where they can't pay for him to go there. I thought 103.1 did that. I thought they were independent. Does Weber pay for his trip? You know, Carl Archie did the play-by-play when Lillard was here, and he called him the Great Dane. Archie was awesome. So, this guy, Blaze 3, Citadel 3 son. Oh, look out, man. Wow. And then, of course, Stephen Brentline. He's something else. So, number 3, this is the best team in the history of the school. It could go down. You know, they're going to break that great 30-win Phil Johnson. Oh, what a fucking great coach. What, man, he was so awesome. Mata, Gene Bishop, Neil McCarthy. Ronna Baglin, the Randy Ray nightmare with the talent was a nightmare. Just that he didn't want to. I hope this guy, well, I know this guy wants to win. So, we'll see at this tournament. Dylan Jones is all that. National Player of the Week, you know. I named him Dylan Magic Jones a long time ago. I remember when I told him I changed his name to Dylan Magic. God, you're really making my head big. Fuck, your head grown, but so's the rest of you. Fuck, he's gotten huge, hasn't he? He's beast, you know. And by the way, Dyson Kohler is a very similar type of play. Can play center and point guard. They have 2 of those guys on the same team, you know. And the evolution of 2, oh my God, it blows my mind to watch how good he's got from when he first got here. Those 3 used to be roommates, you know. They've stayed together, which I can't believe it. That ain't easy. in this day and age. Dillion could have went anywhere he'd wanted. He stayed. You know, I thought for sure he'd go into the draft last year. He turned down the draft. And we'll see if they can get 3. This is going to be a tough-ass tournament for them. And, you know, they haven't won a Big Sky tournament game here since '99. Harold Arson of the show and Gil, number 4. Harold Arson of the show, 21. Of course, the greatest player who ever played here, I think, Jarek Harding in this building. So, we'll see. Go Weaver today. So, they can't afford it? What the fuck are you talking about? That corrupt-ass cult they got over there at the fucking football fucking game. You know, those clowns that do the PR, the play-by, I mean, not even the play-by, the PA announcement. Clowky does the PA. That whole clown circus. Those fuckers, they rip off and blow fuck. What would it cost? $3 grand for him to go there? You know, to a guy like me, it's a lot of money, but to them, fuck, that clown circus over at the Weaver State football program, they run that fucking dog and they ripped that off a week. So, congratulations to the great Winston Reed. He saved his best game for fucking last. I mean, that was his best game. I have my Maxwell Anderson jersey in there that Maxwell gave me after the game. So, they're off to Cal Poly, the football team, which I call the Diablo Canyon Bowl. Let me get that out. Should have had that. Oh boy. Ain't easy to be a one-man band match. So I got front row seats this year. You know I always set up their day for all this year. I'm on the very front row right behind Clouk. And the reason, there's a guy who used to listen to my KWCR all the time, you know, my podcast, my thing, and he says, no, you need to be right there. They get rid of that? Why? He says, how much are the tickets? I said, $335. They got one available right there? Yeah. Go get it, I'll pay for it. So Maxwell gave me this. He signed it right there for me, right in front of me on the hand. What a great player. I knew that day one. I did the play-by-play when he was a freshman down in San Diego. I still say he set the school record for tackles. I don't know. We know Winston had 17 the other day. I used to do the stats here. I used to keep the stats. God, you need to work on that. Yeah, I do. You need to go with that left a little better, Jarek. Sorry. You need to go with that left a little better, Jarek. I'm getting there. So, let's put up 3. I'll keep this in the games, front row. How many can they rip off in a row? How many can they win this year? Dillion Jones to Kevin Blanch. First time I ever talked to him. Well, second time. They're all good, huh? No. Jimmy Levin never played a tournament. Randy Razor never won a tournament game. Fuck, this is a dry spell from hell from Weaver State. He's like, what? I guarantee you we get a try. An NCAA tournament win? You're guaranteeing me? Yeah, I'm going to get us one. Okay. Well, last year when he was I thought for sure he'd go in the draft. I thought for sure the Lakers were going to take him just so that Celtics wouldn't. He came back. So, we'll see. We'll see. He's all that. He's... I call him Dylan Dantley, Magic Jones, but so is this guy. I like what Eric said the other day. Everybody, of course, is going to be Dylan. Rightfully so. He's that good. Rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. And Eric says, well, everybody wants to ask me about Dylan, but he says, we have lots of good players, great players on this team. Boy, ain't that true. This is a veteran team. They've stayed together. You know, 2 blows my mind how he's evolved, you know. KJ, you know, they got the 2 good, great guards now, point guards. I mean, fuck. Dylan and Dyson Kohler and Dillion Jones both can play point guard and center. You know, and then they got Marco. He'll be a piece of this as he gets rolling. You know, they're deep. And so, how about those? I told him, Blaze, I says, hey, you know this is the number here. What do you mean? I've talked to him quite a few times. I've had some really good conversations. Why is this the number? One name. Jerry Carter. Oh, that was unbelievable. Still is. So, go Weaver. Let's see, get 3, and hopefully get 3 today. Let's get our head of ourselves. This team's decent, really good that you're playing Gardner Webb on that tournament. So, no play-by-play. Fucking pisses me off. What? I mean, there's nothing more traditional than Weaver State basketball. As we said on football, after the Mickey Mantle come in here and ripped it shred, as Kev said, we're back to being a basketball school. Oh boy, are we. So, can't play for Klauke to go to there? And dude, Klauke's excellent, by the way. We love him. He's coming out of the thing from the heart attack last year. I was in the hospital listening to it. It's horrible. I came in finally, my first thing, or like when I came out, I finally could move. I was in the ICU for a long time in there. Missed a few games. Came to the game. Every one of these players come up to me. First one, Dillion Jones. I've been praying for you, man. The only people on this fucking campus that ever give me any fucking respect. You know, Maxwell. Oh yeah. Winston Reed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of the football players. Rashid. Oh yeah. These basketball players. What a bunch. What a team. By the way, there were 17-point underdogs in that game. And I told everybody to go bet it. I wish I was a gambler. I understand the money line was 10-1. Gotta go with that left, Jerry. See if we can keep it going. I'll have this in the game and with some other stuff. We'll just keep checking them off. Next home game against Navajo Tech. Right on. I think it's so appropriate. You know, as the great Anthony Johnson said. I had an out-of-body experience. What he did in that building that day, show me another performance in the history of basketball that even rivals it. 34 points in the second half in a game that ended up 66-65. 100% from the line. How did they come back from 23 down? The last 21 points of the game, quadruple teamed. Wow. He said later after, I had an out-of-body experience. I can understand. I know the vibe here. I know the history here. I could write a whole book just on the history of this sacred house pad. Navajo Tech, nice. Indigenous people played basketball for thousands of years. That's unarguable. You go down on the Navajo Res, and we'll go to any of these and watch the basketball tournaments. It is fucking good stuff, man. I'm excited that they got Navajo Tech on me. I think it'd be very cool. All right, go Weaver. Kevin, so go ahead. Let's turn this Randy Ray losing March Titanic around. It's time. Stand tuned.